to the standards that thank you. That a brand new house, you know, we're comparing it basically to a brand new house. So there's a lot of things that weren't even invented when this house was built that are required now that we're required to know there's a deficiency. Overall, it looks good. Usually start in the kitchen with the walkthrough. Have a gas range. All the burners lit and did just fine. The oven worked on bake and broil, and the light and everything there is okay. Microwave worked well. Extremely technical test. Cold cup of water goes in there, heat it for about a minute and a half, and it got hot. So
That's good.
Microwave works, everything's good with it. There is a recirculating vent built into it, so it pulls the air in the bottom, blows it out the top. There are supposed to be 2 filters in there. They're missing and need to be replaced because that will allow grease vapor and things like that to kind of dunk up the inside of it. And the light on it works as well. Dishwasher ran through a normal cycle. It smells better than it did the first time I opened it, so I think it did a pretty good job. Well, kind of. I should have put some soap in there. The drain hose for it comes out of the bottom of the cabinet and up into the disposal. What we should have is a high loop in that drain hose where it comes up just under the sink here, under the cabinet, and then goes down into the disposal. Creates an air bubble in that line and prevents the disposal from sucking any dirty water out of the disposal back onto clean dishes. Food safety thing, it's really easy to do. You just drive a nail up there and kind of tie it to it high up under the cabinet. I mean, very simple. The disposal ran fine. It's fairly new. Hot and cold running water at all the sinks, tubs, and showers, not just here. The sprayer, the hose runs down underneath there, and it's hanging on some of the plumbing. So just a little bit of untangling there would allow you to pull that out and move it around. The other thing I have to note on the sink is this flex line here, where they've connected the left side drain. That flex line allows food particles and stuff like that to get caught up in it and will allow the sink to clog more easily. It should be a smooth pipe all the way. There's one under the sink in the master bathroom as well. Age of the house. Are you familiar with GFCI protection for electrical outlets? They're the electrical outlets that kind of look square like this, and they have the 2 buttons in the middle of them. We don't have them because this is way pre-GFCI protection. It has not been updated. So I will note that it's missing from the house with the exception of one of the exterior outlets where it has been added. It's a good thing to have. The outlets are $12 to $15 a piece. You just replace these outlets with a GFCI protected outlet. It keeps you basically from getting electrocuted if you're using an electrical appliance and you're touching water as well. That then becomes the shortest path to ground across your heart. Those outlets trip off before you get electrocuted. I have to note it as deficient. You don't have to update it or do anything about it because basically it's grandfathered in. So that's up to you.
Is it grounded though? So this in the kitchen, are these grounded?
This outlet are grounded.
Good.
That outlet is not grounded. So at least the ones on either side of the sink are grounded.
Most important.
These, I believe, are the only 2 outlets in the house where they have added a ground. The rest of the house is the original 2-wire system, so it's not grounded, which is just fine because a 2-prong outlet works just fine. Just keep in mind you can't use a 3-prong outlet in them. Some of them have been replaced with 3-prong outlets, which I have to note as a deficiency because it appears to be a grounded outlet, but it is not because they did not upgrade that ground.
With the pier and beam, was the a difficulty in grounding, or is it difficult? Can you ground some of those outlets that she's going to want to use for her PC? And
Yes, you can. Really, running a piece of copper down through the wall under the house and to a cold water line and with a clamp on it would accomplish that, short of rewiring.
So a few hours of an electrician's time?
Yes.
To do these, okay.
Yes. Tell you what, let's go, yeah, garage. We can't go outside. They've kind of turned this into a studio.
Watch this step.
I'm going to note this step because the treads are 2 different depths, and when you step onto that first tread, it's very easy to slide off. So I'm going to...
They're not deep enough, are they?
Especially the bottom one is good, the top one is not deep enough.
I definitely would have that fixed, just for your safety, and you're in and out doing
Yeah.
laundry and everything.
The back door, just a little bit of weather stripping there. Got some light showing just to seal that up. This piece of conduit coming down, which is the plug for the dryer, should extend all the way to the ceiling. We shouldn't be able to see that piece of wire there. Cracks in the garage floor, very normal. Concrete does two things over time. It cracks and discolors. This garage floor is going to move quite a bit. It's not tied in with the structure of the house at all. Basically, this side here is the beam wall for the house, so that's supporting the exterior wall of the house all the way around. And then they just came in at some point and poured a concrete slab in here, so it floats on top of the soil.
Okay.
We have extremely expansive clay soil in this part of Texas. Between the hot part of the summer when it's really dry and right now when we've been getting quite a bit of rain, we can have 3 to 5 inches of movement, which is kind of one of the nice things about up here in Beam. It doesn't move quite as much, and if things start to get out of whack, it's easier to fix them. Attic access is right here. They've blown in some extra insulation up there. Looks like 6 to 8 inches in most areas, which is way above average for the age of the house, so that should help the efficiency. Got conventional construction, minor things. It's just older framing. It looks like it's performing well. With 2 layers of roofing on it, you might see or start to see a little bit of movement. That roof is just really heavy at that point.
It has shingles under.
Yeah, they did an overlay instead of a tear-off, which isn't horrible. Just with this kind of framing, just monitor that. They've got collar ties going across the rafters. Those look kind of like they've been added at some point. So collar ties, there's purlings running all the way down the house, which are beams in the middle of the rafter span. So the peaks here and the top of the wall is over here, and a purlin's a beam that runs down the middle in between the two, which is great. It supports that span and helps keep them from sagging or bowing. There are a couple of supports missing out of one of those purlins, which means it runs a little far and allows it to sag just a little bit. But that's just 2 or 3 2x4s nailed up there to support it.
Okay.
Hatches there. There is a little bit of storage space up there. There's stuff up there now. I think there's 2 bundles of floor in case you ever have to patch. So there's some of that up there. Garage doors I did not test. They are locked, and I can't open them. Whatever that big cabinet is there won't allow them to come up and open. With these open coil springs, they should have a safety cable running through the middle of that spring, so that if the end of it breaks, it doesn't become a projectile. It holds it in line.
Okay.
And the lock should be disabled if you have automatic openers.
Okay.
The thing there is, you lock them, you leave and go on vacation, you come back and you forget and you hit the button, it'll rip the door off the hinges. So.
Okay. I wonder if that's the original crawl space, or if they took down one of the ones